This whole approach of taking things from your psyche, trying to understand what it is. To me, all my work with visuals has to do with dreaming, and it's all one dream, you know? My name is Alma Har'el. I'm making a short film inspired by Chanel No. 5 Low. I was born in Israel. I feel like I've been really lucky to have a weird kind of life with a lot of adventures before I started making films, and I feel it really informs what I do. My film is about a woman who has a spiritual visionary experience after drinking water from an aquarium in a strip mall in Los Angeles. That's what happens here all the time. This story started from the idea of thinking about fragrance in a different way and dealing with how scents really sometimes inspire visions. And I felt there were a few notes in the scent that could really help me tell the story. All right, I think they're ready for us. I think growing up and in general, the way I saw gender and femininity was very much not tied into male, female, and that kind of binary thinking. And I love my father, he's so dear to me, but his compliments to me was, "You're a great guy." It's called Achla Gever in Hebrew. Like, you're Achla Gever, you're like one of the guys. When I started working, the more I worked with crews, the more I realized that I'm the only woman. It was just me, and everybody was a man, like 17 people. And that's actually when it clicked for me. In a way, that's how I started to do Free the Bid. I took a long break from everything I was doing to start this initiative that set out to get people to pledge on each commercial that they make to have at least one woman out of the 3 people that are pitching on it, because usually it's really only 3 men getting the chance to even bid on the commercials. I mean, really, the goal is that people will start to know women's work, and there's close to 300 women now on the website. To me, the conversation is incredibly important, and I think the more stories we get about women, the more women we get, though, behind the camera, and really become the hero of their own story and make that transition from being an object to a subject.
Did you talk to Handel? Okay, well, let me know how that call goes, and I'll call you in a little bit. I just finished my first feature. It's called Lemon. It's a sad comedy, and we get to premiere in a couple of weeks. We did our quality check last night of the movie. There's a couple of issues, so we're racing to address them today before sending the film off. I am interested in characters who are lonely, who feel invisible. I think when you're selling comedy, that's pretty clear. Jokes. When you're selling drama, people want to feel sad, and they get that. It's that weird middle where you're doing something a little bit strange and a little bit experimental that can be a hard sell. I guess it has to do with how you see the world. Do you want to be in a world that is one kind of person, or do you desire to be in a world that is different perspectives?
Je joue pas dans tous les films que je fais. J'étudiais à la fois la réalisation et l'acting. Et j'ai commencé à écrire ce film que je voulais vraiment faire parce que, justement, j'avais des problèmes de visa et que je savais que j'étais pas à New York pour très longtemps. Et du coup, c'est l'histoire d'une Française à New York qui est artiste. Ça faisait sens que j'essaye au moins de jouer ce personnage-là. Depuis, je cherche pas forcément à faire les deux en même temps. J'aime bien être dirigée par d'autres réalisateurs. Et en même temps, j'aime beaucoup aussi diriger les autres acteurs pleinement sans avoir à me soucier de mon propre jeu à moi. Et voilà. Agnès Varda, c'est une vraie inspiration pour moi. Je trouve que c'est une femme à la fois forte, puissante, mais très sensible. Elle et Jacques Demy aussi, c'était un peu le couple parfait, même s'ils faisaient des films très différents. En fait, lui, on dit qu'il y a un cinéma féminin ou un art féminin. Elle faisait parfois des films plus durs, plus sociaux. Donc je pense que c'est bien la preuve qu'on n'est pas enfermé dans des cases de films de femmes, films d'hommes.
Last spring, I was in the subway and I overheard these girls talking, these like skater girls. And they're just extremely charismatic and interesting. And it's like the exact same thing that happened with the Wolfpack, basically, where I was like, hey, where are you from? Like, what's going on? Do you ever want to do some sort of project with me? And they're like, yeah, cool. And I've been hanging out with them for like the last 8 months, creating an outline script that's inspired by their lives, and they're playing themselves.
All your emotions, you know, like when you're a teenager, it's like everything is like the first time.
Yeah, you're so dramatic about it. That's what the background music is like, the drama. This is
All
the
the drama.
innocence.
You're cut in between the two.
I've always just like come and hung out at Asuka's house. We just kind of forget the world and kind of go into our own little thing together.
We like talk about our dreams and like what we want to make next. But also I feel like for you it's different because you are inspired by people. So like New York works for you because you find like, you know, the energy and that stimulates you.
Poetry and metaphor in film can have a really significant effect when it comes to social impact. There is a false dichotomy between art films and issue films, and the sweet spot is when the film is doing both and has a meaning and a purpose that's made all the more powerful through its form. The language of cinema at its best is a very sensory language. All your senses are fully engaged, and that's why it's so transporting. I'm drawn to films that are asking the question, who are we and what are we doing here? And to filmmakers who describe the world expressively and poetically and imaginatively.
We're here shooting a short film for the Fifth Sense with ID and Chanel and Alma. In, I guess, simple terms, I am letting go of all ego, and I was dancing earlier and I felt like a goddess. I think my generation does like the idea of in all these different ways to present ourselves and our ideas, and with that we have a lot of control over how people see us, and that makes someone feel powerful.
Alma is very accessible, very passionate, and cares about the story, but also wants to make sure that we were comfortable. And she's empowered. It's really fun to watch her. She knows what she wants, and she doesn't seem to be afraid to ask for it.
So we're going to get it from this side, looking at the neon. Same shot that we had right now when she came back, same lens. I think you know why you're doing something. You just don't know exactly everything that you're going to learn about it. Even if I start with an image, and I think that is really what this film is about in many ways, is that to find your own voice, the way to get there is sometimes to follow these clues. And like, those clues can be images that come to you and memories that stay with you and things that are painful that keep haunting you. At the same time, there is a huge importance to structure and discipline and clarity. I like trying to find that balance between the things that are most unexplained and mysterious and magical, and the things that keep us sane.
Time for us to glow in the dark together. Will I remember this? Your nose will.